Hi, welcome to ShowMeTheCurry.com. I'm Hital.
I'm Anuja, and today we're going to show you a very typical Bengali vegetable dish called kumro chokka, pumpkin with black chickpeas. So it's actually perfect time. We've got abundance of pumpkins and squashes and
It's fall,
things.
yes, fall, beautiful fall colors.
Yes, so might as well make the best use of all those
seasonal vegetables.
Exactly.
So if you're not familiar with black channa or black chickpeas, they look something like this. They're really dark in color and they're smaller than your typical garbanzo beans. And when you soak these overnight, which is what we did here, they actually change color and it turns into a nice, like a deep red or a brownish red color. And we just drained it out and they're ready to use.
So we're going to do this recipe in two different stages. We're going to cook the chickpeas separately and cook the pumpkin separately, or the squash in this particular case, and then just marry the two. So we have a pressure cooker over here. We've drained out all the water. We've just kept the channas. 1 cup of dry black channas, and to that we'll add 3 cups of water, half tablespoon salt. Mix it, and the flame is on a high. We're going to close it up. And what we're going to do is we're going to let it cook for 1 whistle. Let it go on for 1 whistle, then lower the heat and let it cook for another 30 minutes on a lower flame. Okay, there's our whistle.
1 whistle. I'm going to reduce the flame to a simmer. And we're going to set our timer for 30 minutes and let it continue cooking.
So while that's cooking, we're going to work on the sabzi, or the vegetable part of it. Now for this particular recipe, traditionally they use the regular pumpkin. Over here right now it's fall season and we have this abundance of beautiful looking pumpkins and squashes and all these wonderful things, and you see them and they look so gorgeous. You can do more for them than just putting them outside your house.
A lot of people don't know how to cook with them. They just look too pretty, but it's intimidating because what do you do with it?
Right. So we're going to use one of these. You can use any one of them. This is an acorn squash, and so you can use either this or you can use this. This is a butternut squash. So we'll use this one for this particular recipe, and we just cut it. It's very simple. So we'll just chop off the ends. See how beautiful it is.
Now these are the hard varieties of squashes. We have the bottle gourds and those kind of soft squashes, and these cook a lot differently. They hold their shape a lot better than some of the other ones.
So I didn't cut it straight, but that's okay.
It's okay. I wasn't kidding when I said hard squash.
Yeah. Might is right. We had to listen. So here's what it is. The seed part is only this portion. So all we're going to do is we're just going to scrape that out, take out the seeds and just trash it, peel it and cube it.
So removing the seeds is pretty easy too. I just have a spoon and we're just going to take the spoon and kind of scrape this out. And you want to take off all the fibers as well. There, clean.
Try not to make very, very small pieces, but just bite size would be perfect. That way you get to see them and they don't become a total mash and they still hold their shape.
So that is the last of the squash. This is so pretty.
It is. I love that color. And the combination of that orange and the brown, fabulous, fabulous looking dish. So over here we have 2 tablespoons of oil. So while the oil is heating up, let's talk about Panch Puran masala, or spices. Panch means 5, and it's a very signature Bengali spice. It's used in a lot of their dishes and it is so flavorful, and all it is it contains fenugreek seeds, fennel seeds, cumin seeds, onion seeds and mustard seeds. So that's 5. And basically you can buy it like this, or you can take your own spices and just combine them and you have it.
I think it makes Bengali dishes Bengali, right?
true.
It's like key.
That's right. So I think this is hot. And we're going to add 1 teaspoon of the Panch Puran masala. And just allow all the spices to kind of sizzle and the mustard seeds to pop. Ready?
Yep. Okay, there goes our squash.
And mix. Now anytime you're using pumpkins and squashes, they do have to have a little bit of sweetness to them. So this dish does have a wonderful balance of the savory or the saltiness from the channas and a tiny bit of sweetness from the squash or the pumpkin. And it's just fantastic. It's a great combination.
So once it's mixed in well, we're going to cover it. Again, you don't want to cook it or overcook it until the squash gets really, really mushy. It should still hold its shape.
And we'll keep stirring it in between. Okay, let's have a look.
Smells so good.
Yeah. Look at that. Now you know what I'm talking about when we say it changes color slightly. It's become a little deeper orange and it looks gorgeous. You can tell it's become a little softer. Now this is about 3/4 of the way cooked.
And that's about 12 minutes, about 12 to 15 minutes. So now is the time to add our spices. Some salt, red chili powder. This is to taste. This is cumin powder, 1 teaspoon. And we have 1 tablespoon of minced ginger.
And mix.
Now, like Anuja said, the squash is a little sweet or has a little sweetness to it, but sometimes different varieties will be different. So sometimes a squash is a little sweeter and sometimes it's not. So we have sugar with us. Once all the spices are mixed in, we can taste it, and if the squash is already a little on the sweeter side, we don't need to add any sugar. But if it's not, then we can add a teaspoon or 2, depending on our taste.
And traditionally also we have been told that they usually put jaggery, but you know, we just love the orange of the squash and we don't want to ruin that by putting a brown color in there. So we're going to opt to putting sugar so that it retains the orange and there is a contrast between the orange and the brown of the chickpeas.
So I tried it and our squash is not sweet. It's not cooperating with us. So here's a little bit of sugar. And this is 1 teaspoon.
And again, it is optional and it is to taste, but it tastes fantastic in this dish. Look at the channas, they look fantastic. And they've opened up, so that means number 1, they've cooked, and number 2, they've got some flavor in them. So let's have a look. Fantastic.
All right.
And the salt for that is just right on. So what we're going to do now is we're going to drain out the liquid, and now you can either throw it away or you can keep it for soups or for your atta, to make your atta, or for dals or anything you like. So it's actually very healthy water, so just save it for something else. Let's go ahead and do that.
And here's the channa. We've drained the water. Look at that.
Beautiful. This dish really is pleasing to the eye. I don't know how many times you already said it. It's such a beautiful looking dish.
And you know, not many vegetables have protein in them also. So this dish, actually, you get your vegetable in and you get your protein in all in one shot. It's really, really good.
So you're just going to let it cook and just combine a little bit more. And check on the salt and your spices and the sugar. Once again, another excuse to try your food.
So this is yummy. We've been trying it and it's right on how we like it. We did add just about a half teaspoon more of salt and a little half teaspoon more of sugar, and I think it balanced everything out. Our final step is the Panch Puran masala, the whole spices combination that we had before. Now this is a powdered and actually roasted and powdered version of the same masala, and so this goes on top of this as a garnish. There's no other coriander, cilantro, nothing like that on there, just a little bit of this masala. Just take a pinch of it and sprinkle it on. And you are ready to serve this wonderful dish.
Before we end, we have to thank Papia Sengupta for this fantastic recipe.
So whatever you decide to use for this wonderful dish, either pumpkin or the butternut squash, it'll be delicious either way. But enjoy it and join us again on another episode of ShowMeTheCurry.com.
Adding a pinch of spice to your life.